word for the brutes stationed here that the flood will only cost us certain victory, if not stopped here on this island.
Let us find their ship. Make short work of this abomination.
We shall cut into the heart of this infestation and burn any flood that stand in our way.
Salutations! It's been quite a long time since I covered SPV3 material on this channel. In fact, SPV3 was what helped launch the Vengeful Vadam 3 years ago, so I have much to be thankful for towards this mod on that front. Masters, the lead behind SPV3, gave me permission to give you guys a preview of the upcoming major update to the mod, which will be titled SPV3.2, but we'll exclusively be looking at a set of missions that'll heavily deviate from this mod's norms. Today, I'll be covering the Commander, a campaign mission for SPV3 that has the player take up the role of Thel Vadamee, the elite that would become the Arbiter in Halo 2. The Commander includes a plethora of new features such as brand new cutscenes, voice lines for both the Arbiter and the Spec Ops Commander taken from Halo 2 and Halo 3.
At the far end of the beach, there's a passage into the cliffs.
Then we should not linger.
Exclusive weapons, a revive mechanic, and much more. Just keep in mind that all of the footage seen in the video is not a final representation of the mod, so certain aspects to it are subject to change once it drops. First, I'd like to say how gorgeous SPV3 has become since it originally launched 3 years ago. The mod now utilizes a whole suite of post-processing effects that can be enabled or disabled through the new launcher that will be included in the upcoming release. New settings such as film grain, lens dirt, and volumetric lighting are now a part of the graphical overhaul that SPV3 is known for. The mod even includes a Doom mode where the first-person weapon models are positioned in a classic early 90s era style like you'd see in games such as Doom, Wolfenstein, and Quake. There are 2 variations of the Commander, one that takes place in the standard variation of the Silent Cartographer, and another on its evolved variant, but the premise for both versions are the same. A pack of brutes were sent to the location of the map room to clear out the flood before they discovered more information about Halo, but contact with them was lost. It's up to Thel, as well as 2 other elites, Rtas Vadumee, otherwise known as the Halfjaw or the Spec Ops Commander from Halo 2, and Usze Tahamee, one of the playable elites from Halo 3's co-op campaign, to ascertain the location of the brutes before it's too late. Along the way, there will be a whole host of flood forms and sentinel forces that will try to kill you and your squad. However, it's revealed that the brutes aren't tolerating Thel's orders to push into the cartographer due to them losing a massive amount of their troops to the flood, and they proceed to turn on you, which makes the brute-led Covenant troops a third enemy type for the player to take on. The main selling point for the Commander is the fact that it includes a playable elite instead of the Master Chief, and the changes it provides aren't simply cosmetic. Just like in Halo Reach, Thel's energy shields are stronger than Master Chief's, with a shield strength comparable to that of an elite zealot. After a short period of time without enemies attacking him, Thel also has the ability to completely replenish his health back up to full regardless of how much damage he has taken. This somewhat mirrors the health regeneration ability the elites have in Halo Reach. Thel's HUD is also vastly different from Chief's to give it a more Covenant style theme. Design-wise, it takes after the pre-release Combat Evolved HUD that was originally being used in older builds such as the one seen here in the E3 2000 demo. To balance the shield strength increase, the motion tracker has been removed, so players will need to exclusively use their eyes to spot enemies, and this level throws a lot of them at you at once in a multitude of directions. If either of your elite allies are downed in combat, you can patch them up and they'll resume fighting off enemies. This feature was inspired by Halo 5's revive system, but unlike in Halo 5, when enemies kill you, you die in a traditional fashion and you cannot be revived by your allies. Since this mod takes place before the Great Schism, honor-bound elites such as Thel would rather die than use human weapons, so the player is unable to pick up and use human weapons of any kind. While this seems like a negative aspect that would limit the sandbox, the Covenant arsenal is vast and diverse enough in SPV3, as well as the fact that you still have access to the 2 Sentinel weapons, that there's never a shortage of weapons to choose from. In fact, the Commander features 2 new weapons entirely. The first is a needle grenade that replaces the frag grenade. It works a lot like Halo 3's spike grenade, where it can stick to just about any surface, and when it detonates, it unleashes a multitude of needle projectiles that cause super combines to whatever is unfortunate enough to be in its path. If an enemy is stuck by a needle grenade, they'll be super combined several times, and the subsequent explosions can even damage other enemies that happen to be caught in its area of effect. The other new weapon is the iconic energy sword, but this variant works extraordinarily different from its contemporary incarnations. It's not a weapon that you can find laying around in the level to pick up. It's always readily available to you with the push of a button. It's known that the Master Chief in SPV3 utilizes various armor abilities such as sprint, visor mode, and health regeneration. Unlike in Halo 2 where the Arbiter is able to use active camouflage, the Energy Sword in SPV3 takes up the role of Thel's armor ability. The Energy Sword in this mod has an infinitely charged battery just like in Halo 2's multiplayer, but can only be used for a short time before it disintegrates and has to recharge. You could prematurely put the sword away at any time, and you can see the progress of the sword's recharging sequence in the middle of the shield and health portion of the HUD. To balance out the fact that this sword has infinite ammo, it no longer has the ability to lunge at opponents like it can in the main series. While I was initially put off at the idea, after I used this sword for a while, it has really grown on me and I've since started to prefer this incarnation over its contemporaries. It actually takes quite a bit of skill to use this sword now that it can no longer lunge, and it's especially fun to use when you're backed into a corner with a bunch of flood surrounding you. Another useful niche that the sword brings to the table is it can also serve as a flashlight for Thel when he finds himself in dimly lit areas of the level, and there's plenty of those to go around in the Commander. Although both versions of the Commander utilize a similar plot, the way they go about progressing it is different. In the regular variation, Thel and his squad search for the brutes, but are immediately attacked on sight due to the brutes going insane, which was caused by the flood outbreak killing the majority of their forces. In the Commander Evolved, the story is quite a bit more plot driven. Thel, Rtas, and Usze look for the brutes only to find a squad led by a new character named Chieftain Lepidus, and his forces don't fire upon the elites the moment they make their presence known. The elites attempt to have Lepidus ready as troops to make another push for the cartographer, but the chieftain refuses to comply due to the severe hit his forces took after their first attempt to get to the map room. When Thel loses his patience over Lepidus' insubordination, the chieftain orders his troops to fire on the elites, and that's how the brutes are introduced as enemies in the Commander Evolved. This variation of the mission also has some various content exclusive to it that I've come to appreciate. There's a point where the player comes across jackal snipers who are positioned on top of Covenant sniper perches, which are inspired by similar platforms used in Headhunters. Another is when brutes are using vehicles against the player, and their bodies are so large that they can't properly fit into them, which leaves their heads exposed to carbine fire. It feels really satisfying being able to dispatch enemy vehicles this way. Overall, the Commander is an excellent take on the concept of elite missions, and has become my personal favorite aspect to the current rendition of SPV3. While some aspects of the mod might not resonate very well with players, such as the removal of usable human weapons, keep in mind that this only applies to the Commander, which is considered to be a spin-off mission, and the rest of the levels featured in SPV3 utilize the entire weapon sandbox. I'd personally like to see an entire elite campaign that uses many of the features seen in the Commander as a foundation for its combat loop, with the Energy Sword ability being one of my favorite aspects. Make sure to download SPV3 when it drops after the MCC PC flights are finished. If, and only if, you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more Halo content on this channel, and make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, as it helps my channel greatly, and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and join my Discord server as well. I also have a Patreon account where you can voluntarily donate however much you'd like to further support the channel, and I'd like to thank the following patrons: Storm from Storm and Blackbird, Sunny Boy, Pablo Escobar, and Thrinmon. This is the Vengeful Vadam, and I'll see you on the great journey.